All right, Shalom. First off, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Quadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. And Shalom to all the Akim out there preaching his word, truth, and sincerity. So, I just wanted to basically go into, this is an old article that was written almost a year ago, yet the point is still relevant. And I was basically, when I'd be riding to work or whatever, I'd be listening to the radio with the news and all, and I was hearing them discussing how basically how they was saying like the situations that happened out here when it was around the times of like the riots that was happening in Berkeley and stuff with the KKK and what they call the left, the far left, whatever, which is mainly like racist Edomites. And there's pretty much going into like what's the state with the most hate groups or whatever, and as far as like Edomite hate groups with racists and all that, KKK and all the other little sectors they like to call themselves, and they was saying basically that California was number one. And this article, it was written a year ago, but this point is still relevant. So I'm gonna read a little bit of it. So this is from the SACB. And its heading says, states listed with the most hate groups, where does California rank? And it says, California ranks number one in the nation with 79 active hate groups, 6 of which operate in Sacramento area, according to a new report released by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which monitors hate groups and extremists in the U.S. The Southern Poverty Law Center report includes a detailed map of the 917 hate groups actively operating across the United States. Florida ranks second among states with 63 active hate groups. In the Sacramento area, the report cited 6 active groups: Golden State Skinheads, a racist skinhead group; the Traditional Work Party, a white nationalist group; the Pacific Justice Institute, and Variety Baptist Church, both anti-LGBT groups; and as Sabiquin and European American Evangelistic Crusades general hate groups. In June 2016, a rally by members of the Traditionalist Worker Party in the shadow of the state capitol devolved into violence when members clashed with Antifa or anti-fascist demonstrators. 10 people were injured, with at least 5 stabbed in the violent confrontation. But the main point being that I want to go into, as far as for the whole subject, is that the number one ranking is out here in California, and based, like it says in the article, it's hate groups all around America. Yet it was saying that the number one for the biggest area was California, because that's where a lot of stuff be starting. That like brothers always going to. California is where a lot of different groups and stuff starts at. It's like a lot of things start out here, so that would make sense that California would be the biggest, like far as the biggest place where it has the most hate groups out here. And it's a lot of Edomites that are racist. Like you got racist Edomites, like I said, in Sacramento. You got racist Edomites out in our area. It's been news articles of them like passing out hanging KKK flyers in different little neighborhoods out here. Or you be having all type of racist stuff happening all around the Bay Area, man. This California is the biggest one. Out in LA, out like all around California, man. Like it says. All right, it's ranked number one. All right, but the main point being that I was going into this for is because that it's the spirit. The reason that the Lord has it like that, all right, really that's getting more intense now, is that spirit of race wars is out there, man. And we're in a time of where you can see the Lord, He's setting it up for it to happen. Now these hate groups, they're being more out front with their stuff. All right, as far as like they going out there beating up niggas or beating up their own people that's not on their side. All right, Esau's like in that spirit of a race war. Basically, he always had that hatred for Jacob. Now he's being more upfront with it. Since Trump got in office, they even said it. As far as statistics or whatever, that hate crimes have increased since Trump has been in office. So that's just further proof that all these little hate groups that been in California, that been on low key, so to speak, Now you see them trying to be more out there in the public, marching, beating up people. All right. And now when I was going back to what I was listening to on the radio, the reason they went into it in the first place is because they was talking about that incident that happened in Berkeley, where it was a racist, basically a public racist Edomite group that was out there protesting and just beating up people while they protest, just to do it basically. Anybody that didn't agree with them, that was out there the so-called counter protesters, they was headbutting them, punching them, just beating them up. Dudes, females, all right, niggas, and their own people. Anybody that's not like their own people, as far as the ones that's not with them. All right, but you had something you want to say? Or
yeah, I was gonna add. I believe it was like a couple years ago, but pretty much the elder brother guy, he had brought it to our attention. It was going on actually during camp. It was like a protest, which you're talking about. It was in Berkeley.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, the bitch got beat up. she was talking all that shit, and then she ended up getting her ass beat by a couple Edomite cuts.
And that's the exact incident they was talking about on the radio.
Good, that's weird.
And because those people, those same Edomites from that situation, they're just now going to court for that.
Yeah.
And they're just now like, they haven't even got like in trouble, so to speak, for it yet, but they're just now going to court for all that shit that happened in Berkeley.
Just not handling the situation.
They're just now handling it, basically. That's why they was talking about it on the radio, because it was basically. Then that's what made them go into the subject of all the hate groups.
Yep. And matter of fact, I got a quick precept backing that up. This is let me see. This is Saint Mark chapter 3 verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
Yeah, and the kingdom of America is divided against itself. Because going like that the protest you was talking about out in Berkeley, that the nigga woman got punched. It was also the Edomites out there protesting against their own people as well. That was along the counter protesters.
Yeah.
And they got beat up as well.
Yeah. Yep. Hella Edomites got beat up. That's the one I was chiefly talking about.
Yeah. It was a lot of they basically beating up their own kind, because they looking at them like, oh, so you want to be a nigga lover, basically. If you're not with us, that's what they look at them as, like, oh, you're a nigga lover, this and that. You're not for your people. You're a race traitor.
Yeah.
That's how they look at their own people. But it's a kingdom divided against itself, just like at the Democrats and Republicans. Like they all like Esau divided against himself.
Yep.
In every aspect.
Right.
Even with the bullshit going on the news with the Kavanaugh shit, that's all they talking about now, and it's Esau against Esau, basically. Just nothing but division. And so this kingdom cannot stand. We already know it can't stand, but that's further proof that it can't stand.
Yep, that's right. It says, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end.
And that's how we know where he's at his end.
Yep.
All right, because it's Satan that rising up against himself. Edomites, Esau against Esau. Even with Russia against America, it's still Esau against Esau.
The EU.
Yep. It's Esau against Esau. So we know that Esau's at his end, and it's being made clear as day, and it's made evident. All right, if you're paying attention to what's going on in the news and just linking up stuff that's going on in the world in general with the scriptures. All right, because stuff hasn't been this bad in America. No, everybody can agree with that statement, that America hasn't been this bad. Nobody can really just sit there and say, oh, stuff like this always been happening. No, it hasn't been always happening. It's really stuff is going on today that hasn't always been happening in America. That wasn't the so-called norm in America. All right, just like dealing with hate crimes like this, or just racial tension, period. People at one point thought it was all good, like, oh, that was back in the past, this and that. I don't want to talk about slavery no more, or we people not racist no more. That was just in the past. Now they're different. No, man, these Edomites showing you that ain't shit changed, man. And if anything, they showing you even more. Like I don't gotta hide my hatred for you. I could be straight up with you and say fuck you. That's where it's at now. The racial tension is to the point to where they don't even try to sugarcoat it no more. Esau's just being bold with his hatred for Jake.
Yep.
And that's just further proof that we're closer nearing the times of the race wars. That's why they had the movie The Purge.
Yep.
All right, they instead since the movie dropped, they continuing in that spirit by having the show. So now you can stay in that race. They basically keeping that vibration out there by having the show going now. Since the movies is over with, now you can watch the show about it.
Yep.
Then they got other movies coming out dealing with racism.
Yep. They just had what the Black Klansman.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to see it. I have a hard time finding it, but I know a couple of the elder brothers speak about the movie. I'm sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much showing Jacob versus Esau, all right, and pretty much in Esau's world, because you know this as it says in Job 9:24, this heaven, this earth, this rulership is given into the hands of the wicked, which is Esau.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Jacob just maneuvering through the society, man. All right, and Esau just blatantly show you his hatred for Jacob, man. You know, for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and what we're talking about right now is even his hatred towards himself.
Yeah.
You know, Satan versus Satan. You know, Jake.
Oh, you can get what you had. That's what I was gonna try to go to next.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You want me to start at a certain place or just through the spirit?
Where are you gonna start?
All right. This is second Ezra chapter 15, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another."
Yeah, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. So we see in that now. That division being that spirit of division where people are ready to start standing up and fight against one another.
Yep.
That and it's always what? Esau and Jacob, whether it's the north or the south.
Mm-hmm.
That falls under the branch of Jacob because we're all the same people. All right? We're all part of the nation of Israel.
Yep.
All right? So that's what it's always coming back to, all right? Yeah, it's going to be race wars with everybody fighting against each other, yet the main people that it's always circled around is who? Jacob and Esau. All right. When I say Jacob and Esau, I mean you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. For as far as Jacob and Esau being the Edomites, man, and being you so-called white people.
That's right. That's right. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another. You know, that's two different people going back to we're two different nations.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Jacob and Esau. You know, when the angel told Isaac, you know, that his wife Rebecca would have two different nations. You know, two different manner of people, pretty much. All right, the righteous, which is Jacob, our forefather, who name was changed to Israel. All right, and Esau, the Edomites, you know, the wicked.
Yep.
All right, so this is two different people. Okay, so it says, and one people shall stand up to fight against another. All right, really, it's gonna be chiefly Israelites versus Edomites. Yeah, it's gonna be Israel against all you damn heathen nations. Really, you know, Esau just on everybody's shit list. Chiefly on the Heavenly Father's shit list.
You're just number one on the hit list.
That's right.
Everybody else just getting it by default because you heathens.
Yeah, I hate them. He said, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands."
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be swords in their hands, whether it's an actual sword, a weapon, all right, whatever manner of weapon it be, an instrument of death, whatever it is they put you to death with, or it could you be whatever. That's by saying swords in their hands. It just means that they're gonna be putting you to death.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that going on now. The Edomite that killed the black bitch on the BART.
Yep.
And then you had another bug out Edomite not that long ago, like I think this week, that was just riding on the BART with a machete on the BART, putting it to his neck on some bug out shit.
Mm-hmm.
So this is being a regular thing out here where you got bug outs out here with machetes and shit. You never know when you're gonna be the next victim.
Yep.
People are these days, especially like I don't know about in the other states, but we keep up with the news going on out here in the other places, but like out here in the Bay, man, a lot of people are just bug outs and they starting to just kill people.
Yeah,
on some bug out shit.
That rampage spirit, like the elder brother y'all call always says, just on the spirit of just shooting shit up, putting people pretty much that death spirit, the spirit of vengeance.
The Lord's putting that spirit out there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, it hasn't always been like this, and I ain't trying to hear none of that. Anybody saying that this is normal, stuff like this always been happening in the world? No, it hasn't, man. It hasn't been this bad. When have you been seeing people getting put to death on a Bay BART back to back in a short period of time? In a few months, a couple of people died on public transportation. That's not nothing normal, man. Why all of a sudden? Okay, if that's the case, why all of a sudden now they want to worry about trying to increase police presence there, hiring people to escort you to the BART and all type of other shit? It's because it's waxing worse and worse, man. America is waxing worse and worse, and that spirit of vengeance is being put more on these people out here because the Lord is executing more judgment.
Yep. Yeah, like it says, St. Matthew, the 24th chapter. Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's backing up what the brother is saying. Because the wicked is in rulership, and we're at the end. We're at the end of Esau's rulership, man. So wickedness has to be on the highest level possible, man. All right. That's for these people being more bug outs. Just having that spirit of just fuck it, man. I'm gonna just take some lives today. All right. Might even take my own afterwards. That's just what it is. People shooting shit up, random stabbings. All right. Shit, that's just two manners of using the sword, man. All right. People do a lot of just off the wall shit, man. Fires, drownings, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But yeah, it says, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Yep, and that's what it's gonna be. Whatever they want to do, they're gonna be doing that. Just like in the movie The Purge.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions was in their hands. Whatever they wanted to do, they had the power to do so without any consequences, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's going to be very soon in Babylon.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much this chaos, man. All right, it's going to be it's going to be lawlessness. All right, that's why these people, they're not going to care, because you're not going to be able, like you women, you wicked ass women, you black bitches chiefly, you been getting judged a lot lately, man. And it's only going to increase because you ain't right. All right, you hand in hand with this devil. Yeah, man, rape is going to go up. All right. Crime in general, crime is going to go up, man. Violence is going to go up. Okay. Judgment is going to go up, because these people are not going to they're not going to have no fear of consequences, because they're not going to have none. You're not going to be able to call the cops. All right, you're not going to have a so-called good Samaritan or whatever passing by. Oh, let me help out. No, man. Everybody. It's going to be pretty much survival of the fittest, man. A dog eat dog world type of zone, man. You people already live in that zone. It's just going to be more obvious and blatant, man. You really going to have to. You people really are gonna show your true emotions for each other. You're not gonna sugarcoat it no more. Yeah. Do you want me to continue?
Well, that was the main point right there. Cause like that was just like the main point I wanted to hit was like that basically how that article is going into it, even though it's a year old. Cause I wanted to go into it because I heard it on the radio them mentioning it, cause it's only getting worse.
Yep.
Last year, you seen how the articles that I brought up was last year. Stuff has been happening this year in 2018. That Berkeley situation that was at the beginning of the year, or it's like earlier this year.
Mm.
So things like that is only going to increase more and more out here in the Bay.
I feel like it was longer.
I believe it was earlier
not
this
sure.
year. It may have been like last year, but closer to the end of the year. But it wasn't. It's only getting worse because a lot more protests have happened out here with the KKK and like all these other little Edomite racist groups. So it's only getting worse here. It's waxing worse and worse, man. Because that wicked energy that's here in America is still here and growing more. And iniquity is bounding and increasing. So wickedness is going to increase here. Death is going to increase here, man.
Yep.
That's basically what I wanted to hit. But that was like the point. Unless you had something else.
No, that's pretty much the point.
Yeah.
You know.
So these race wars is on the way, man.
Yeah, and that's all prophecy. As you see, we're going into the scriptures. Okay, we're not making this up out of thin air. Okay, you know this is the prophecies of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. This was said to come to pass, man, and it's actually coming to pass. Like the brother is saying, you know that article is a year ago, but yet look how much how worse it has gotten, you know. Only further what fulfilling the prophecies, man. And this in this case, the race wars, man. You know, chiefly Jacob versus Esau, and Esau, you know, you are not gonna win. All right, that's why you're investing in your blessing, your sword. You know, 'cause you can't take Jake head on, all right. But yeah, that's the time that we're heading into what Jacob's trouble, all right. You know, 'cause you 2/3, you still gonna get put to death, man. Yeah, you know, you gonna get some Edomite blood, yet you still gonna be put to death as well, all right. And you Edomites, man, you through, all right. You done, and your kingdom is done, you know. Yeah, Jake, that's it.
Yeah, so with that, we're going to say all praises again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kodash. Double honors again to our apostles and elders in Great Millstone. And Shalom to all the Akim out there that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity.
Shalom.
Shalom.